Hi everyone, comic book reviewer here. This time reviewing on the film Inspector Gadget. Now, as you know, Inspector Gadget was a 1999 superhero comedy film, which of course was meant to be based on the popular cartoon Inspector Gadget that ran from 1989 to 1985. And I know, obviously, after the 1983 cartoon, there would be Gadget and the Gadgetinis, a sequel film, Inspector Gadget 2, and also another spin-off cartoon known as Gadget Boy. And the best way I can describe the film, Inspector Gadget, is that it's trying to be close to what the cartoon counterpart was, but having to take a bit of a creative difference from the source material. And the premise of the film is meant to follow John Brown, who mainly lives in the city of Riverton with his 12-year-old niece Penny and her pet beagle known as Brain. And the best way I can describe John Brown is that he wants to be seen as a hero. He dreams of becoming a great police officer, but of course has to work a medium job as a security guard. But it still doesn't gives his hopes up. But we kind of see right away after Dr. Brenda's father gets killed, we kind of see how Inspector Gadget tries to stop the main villain, but of course ends up being badly injured and has to go through the Gadget program and becomes basically Inspector Gadget. And I think the whole point of the film is trying to be this overboard, zany, cartoony version of the show, while mixing the elements of RoboCop and Dick Tracy. And I can kind of see what they were going with Dr. Claw here, having him be this sort of corrupt businessman known as Sanford Skolex. I can see they had to go with someone who had to be this sort of foil to John, someone who has to put up this sort of rich, sophisticated persona. And you can tell both John and Stanford are meant to be foils to each other. Like, John wants to be seen as a hero, but kinda has to learn and see things the hard way. Well, obviously, Sanford Solex puts up this kind of makeshift, sort of upstart persona. And I do think Matthew Broderick definitely works as Inspector Gadget, trying to play this role, this guy who wants to be seen as a hero, but kind of has to realize that it will just take time and work to get those things he's after. Well, obviously, Rupert Everenberg, playing Stanford Solex, plays this upper class, sort of sophisticated businessman, but it's clear that he's got his own personal problems that he'll never admit. And I do admit, at least they use some of the characters to try and do what they can. Like, it's kind of clear that obviously Michelle Trachtenberg, playing Penny, is trying to play this character. In the cartoon, Penny was the Dr. Watson to Inspector Gadget Sherlock Holmes. She was usually the one who worked in the sidelines. She was there to help Inspector Gadget in any situations. In the cartoon counterpart, he was a complete sort of absent-minded idiot, but you could tell Penny still wanted to try and save Gadget from putting himself in danger. It's slightly there, but it just shows you that John is a little more competent, but it's him having to learn things the hard way. And at least they do try to get Chief Quimby somewhat right. Like, he's a bit of a jerk here, but he's a jerk with justified reasons, as, yeah, Inspector Gadget's just a poster boy for the police, and he isn't really trained properly for the kind of police work. And I think this is what I love about Chief Quimby here. He's arrogant and stubborn, but it's with a good reason. And I think it does try to do what it can to tell another run-in-the-mill superhero story, just using and adapting with what's given. I think my best thoughts with Inspector Gadget, it's there to embrace the 1980s cartoon, but trying to be something a little more different. So I think it definitely deserves a thumbs in the middle. kind of okay, kind of alright, but does there to be another average run-in-the-mill storyline. So, comic book reviewer here, signing out.